everyone, John Cunningham-Ryan, Senior Library Assistant with the Wexford Library Services, back with another book review. And today I'm going to review a book called The Gravity of Us by Phil Stamper, and this is Phil Stamper's debut novel, a really good read. But before I get into this book review, there is a link below to a blog that I've done for the book, because I realise that there are some people who are hearing impaired and they won't be able to listen to my video, so they can read about my blog below. So I just wanted to put things in context a little bit, because I don't know how long people will be watching this video for, but at the moment we're in June 2020, we're just about at the end of the month, and for some of you, you will previously have experienced and celebrated Pride in June. Obviously this year it hasn't really happened because of the COVID-19 lockdown, hence the long beard and hair. So this will probably be the last LGBT book I get to review for Pride month, but I mean, I'm still obviously not going to stop reviewing them. But also I just wanted to mention something else. Across the social media and across all news at the moment, you will have seen something about civil rights and the Black Lives Matter movement. And just to tie a little bit in, this book is based on a story around NASA and their trip to Mars. So I just wanted to mention a book and a movie called Hidden Figures. For those who haven't experienced it, it's an awesome book, and it charts the lives of some black ladies who were working for NASA, and they were basically the human computers. So for the whole mission to the moon and everything that went on in the 60s and 70s, a lot of the science and calculations that was created and imagined was by black women who had previously been forgotten. So that's a really good book and movie, and down below you'll see a link that I put in to a blog that I did on Hidden Figures. Okay, so to get to the book, The Gravity of Us by Phil Stamper, as I say, it's his debut novel, really good read. We follow the life of Cal, short for Calvin, but he's known as Cal because his dad is Calvin. And Cal is from Brooklyn, and he has all his life planned out ahead of him, going to college. He has an internship with BuzzFeed. He's been building a massive social media presence. He has over 500,000 followers, and he is a journalist, or a journalist in training, I suppose. That's what he intends doing when he goes to college, and he has travelled. He has covered both local and national stories with politics, and also about the Orpheus project. And the Orpheus project is NASA's current project to go to Mars. So it's just really interesting, and whilst he is talking about his life, and we delve a little bit, I suppose, into the lives of teenagers and how they interact with social media, that's quite interesting. It's something that Cal's dad doesn't understand, and he thinks he's just messing about, and we cover more about that in the book. But then Cal's life is turned completely upside down. He learns that his dad is the last and 20th member of the Orpheus project, so overnight basically they have to pack up and move, and they move across the country. I think it's to Texas, where there's a whole town that has been bought up for all of the astro families, and those are the families of the astronauts. His whole life is thrown up. He loses his friends, the school he was going to, and also his journalism ambitions are scuppered, because as part of the contract his dad has to sign a gagging order, because there's a company called Star Watch who own the publishing rights to the stories and interviews about the Orpheus project. So yeah, Cal's life is completely thrown upside down. We get a really fun and interesting part in the book. After their 3-day drive to their new home, and Cal is really, peed off. Before the news gets out that his dad is actually the last astronaut, he actually breaks the news himself. It's probably going to be his last broadcast to his followers, so he kind of enjoys doing it. He talks himself into doing it because he says, oh well, my dad hasn't kind of signed the contracts and all yet, so technically, they're not breaking any clause or anything. So yeah, that's really interesting what ensues from that, and the media machine and animal that is unleashed is very interesting. So then during the book then we follow the lives of the families. we follow the lives of Cal, and he meets Leon, who was one of the only other teenagers, an astro kid as such, and they start falling in love with each other. And then there's a lot of other stuff going on. A lot of it is actually created by Starwatch. Starwatch see their figures, their ratings drop, so they're trying to create drama and stories where really none exist. But of course that in itself is feeding the animal as such, and things start getting interesting. There's a lot of tension between NASA and NASA's PR machine and the families and Starwatch, so there's a lot of stuff going on. And a few things go wrong, which then kind of threatens the future of the project. So it's really interesting there. At this stage I like to kind of talk about some of the negatives of the book, but honestly I actually don't find any in this book at all. There is no content that's too mature. The most, I suppose, mature, intimate thing in the whole book is when Cal and Leon are kissing. That's as advanced as it gets, so really there's nothing in that I suppose 12 plus and teenagers shouldn't be reading. I suppose there's one tiny trigger warning in the book. There is a person in the book that loses their life. I'm not going to give anything away. Now that isn't a huge, there's not a lot about that in the book, and the family that's affected kind of leaves the town, so we kind of don't talk an awful lot about that, but I suppose it is a trigger warning, particularly for a young person. If they're reading that might kind of cause, I suppose, a little bit of distress. The only one negative about this book, I suppose, that I could really say is that I love the concept that Phil Stamper is writing about the families of the astronauts rather than the astronauts themselves. And I just actually would have liked a little bit more about that. I would have liked to learn a little bit more about some more of the families and maybe more of the scientists and the people behind the project. But that's the only negative I have. I mean, it really doesn't take away from the book. Okay, so to talk about the positives of the book, and they are absolutely massive. This book is really well written, the language is really good, and the pacing is really good. It's a real page turner. You just want to keep reading it. It's really exciting and interesting. The characters are interesting, and it's just very well balanced. It's a book that I think any teenagers would like, particularly because of I suppose the whole part of Cal's life and his social media and journalism and news, that interest in it. And I think Cal's dad, Calvin, thinks it's all a waste of time, it's only messing about and all, and it's not real as such. But of course, as we know, and as particularly as teenagers know now, that world of the digital world and social media that exists is real, and there's a huge thing in it, and there can be careers in it as well for young people. So I think that's really interesting also. And then, so that makes the book interesting for teenagers. And then I think anybody say that's geeky or nerdy into sci-fi, fantasy, NASA stuff, they'll enjoy it as well. Adults will enjoy it. If you like LGBT content, you'll enjoy it as well. So there's a lot, I suppose, of different hooks there that different people will enjoy. I certainly did anyway. As I already said, the book is really well paced, and the drama and intrigue in the book really makes you keep turning the pages. But there's two parts in the book, or two moments in the book, that I really like. Cal is one of these people. He's an obsessive planner and fixer of things. And at one stage in the book, there's just a really nice moment where he was reminded that Cal, that he couldn't fix everything that was broken, but he could make things a little better, and I just liked that idea. And then also during the book, Leon is dealing with his depression, and he starts to talk to Cal about it. And of course, Cal, being the person he wants, or the person he is, he wants to try and fix everything. So he wants to kiss Leon and make him feel better. And Leon tells him, please don't kiss me to make me feel better. Instead, at a later stage, kiss me for other reasons, And I just really like that idea that I suppose that sometimes we try and do something really nice or positive, but we try to do it for the wrong reasons. So yeah, I just like the idea. Overall, I have to say, I absolutely love this book. It's a great read. It's really well written. It's well balanced. Just to finish off, I suppose I get my book again, right in front of the camera. So, Phil Stamper's debut novel, The Gravity of Us. I have no problem giving this book a rating of 9 out of 10. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please comment below and share it. Thank you very much. I have been John Cunningham-Ryan, Senior Library Assistant with the Wexford Library Services.